Lena.
Craig Tiley gets it.
Well done. Born in Dijon.
Like Dijon mustard.
She can do a moutarde commercial.
Yeah, it's the village next to Hot English.
In the room, you have the referee, you have a representative of the international broadcasters, a representative of the domestic broadcast, you have a representative from the men's tour, a representative from the women's tour, you have someone from integrity, someone from security to make sure that you're not putting nations at war with each other right next to each other.
Hello and welcome to the tennis for another week of madness here around the oblong table. It's actually an oval. My name is Xavier Muhlebach. Big week of tennis. It's sweet smell of success for Boisson's French fairy tale. Scheduling in the spotlight, are women getting a fair go at Grand Slams? And defiant Djokovic, Novak sets up a semi-final showdown with Sinner. All that and more coming up over however long this show goes. I am Xavier, and joining me this week, former Australian player, Davis Cup captain, and now commentator, it's John Fitzgerald.
Safe.
Nice jacket, Fitzy.
Yeah, big clap.
Thank you. You're not getting this jacket because I've noticed you've tried to knock it off the
Yeah, I've
last
been
time I
eyeing
brought
it.
it.
I stole it last time he was
You
here,
did,
Craig.
you did.
I'm keeping it on.
Well, we're very happy to have you back.
Thank you,
Welcome,
Zach.
Fitzy. And Australian Open tournament director and the big kudu himself, it's Craig Tiley.
Good to be here.
That's very good.
Again, thank
no
you.
one's nervous.
No, I'm not either.
Okay, good. I wanted you to come in a little bit jittery, but you seem cool, calm and collected. But joining me, as always, except when she's over at Roland Garros, it is Brie Stewart, dressed as Vicky Pollard from Little Britain today with your stripy Adidas.
My Adidas pants.
They're pretty
Thank
cool.
you. I think they're cool.
Good to be back.
We're playing pop tennis this afternoon,
Oh,
so
we are too.
yeah,
it's
it's
gonna be
great
fun.
to be back.
Yeah, I'm wearing jeans and a button-up shirt, so we'll see how that goes for me. Now, we've got a huge show this week. Obviously, we're in the middle of a one of four Grand Slams over at Roland Garros, and we've got some hot results fresh off the press. Pretty exciting stuff. Quarterfinals, Novak Djokovic taking out Zverev. Very convincing. We've got Jannik Sinner, #1 seed, taking out Alexander Bublik. And the women's side, Coco Gauff took out Madison Keys, our reigning champion at the moment from the Australian Open, and Lois Boisson. The surprise defeat of Mirra Andreeva. Pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been some great matches. The quarterfinals have been really exciting. The semis are now looking really exciting. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. Your French is perfect. I understood everything you just said then. That's great. Well, let's jump straight in with what's caught your eye in tennis this week. Fitzy, kick us off. Lois Boisson.
Yes.
Who is she? What's she done? Why is she the talk of the town?
Can I use my Australian accent
Please,
for
because
her,
I am struggling.
for her first name?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm happy to revert to the French accent for the second name.
Oui, oui.
Yeah. No, Lois Boisson has been a revelation. And look, I love this stuff in tennis. You know, there's an argument to say when the highest ranked guys get through the final, it creates all of this energy and it is great and it's the matchups you want to see. But when a youngster comes along and does what she's done, it's a different sort of attention. And I'm one of those guys who loves it. And it's very rare that a player outside of the top 5 or so can win these majors.
She's very outside the top 5.
Very outside. And she's shown a lot of resilience the last 12 months, which I love. Coming back from that knee
Injury.
big knee injury, a year out of the game.
Like a full year of rehab,
Yeah.
really.
And only to play a couple of times competitively before the French Open speaks volumes. And to come back from breaks down in sets in a previous match, she's got resilience, she's got fight, and now she might just have belief. You know, who knows? It's a big step, though.
Well, I mean, home
once you make the
soil-
semis, a big step.
Playing at home. Playing at home.
She's got a
is
lot
amazing.
of French locals screaming her name. But I'm just reading here. So she had not recorded only one win, between her rehab and playing RG. That is just diabolical.
Well, it's amazing that that your body would all stand up too. No matter how much training you do, you know, leading into this, once you start playing competitive matches, you know, it's tough to stay fit and keep everything together for 5 straight matches. Look,
Yep.
I guess she's there. She's got a chance. She likes the clay. And she's a young kid with nothing to lose now.
Yeah.
She's achieved a lot already. Her ranking's going to go to 65 or so.
Yeah,
even if she
from
loses.
Anonymity to well inside
And I
top
was
100.
reading this morning that she started Roland Garros ranked as the number 24th French woman, and she'll end Roland Garros as the #1 French woman,
Yeah, that's
which
pretty cool.
is massive.
Yeah.
Well, one other thing she's done, she has previously won a WTA event and she's won 6 ITF events. So she's won tournaments. And when you win tournaments, it's significant. You know, you can get to the quarters and lose. But she's handled those smaller bigger moments well early in her life, in her career. This is by far bigger than any of those tournament wins. But to win tournaments says something about a player's character, I think. You never know.
First wild card to reach women's semi-final at Roland Garros.
Huge.
Yeah. It's massive.
You were over there, Craig. Did you
Yeah,
see
no,
her?
I was. I got back at the beginning of this week, and there was a lot of excitement around her play, but not as much as there is now because she didn't have the last two results that she had, and beating Andreeva, of course, who beat Dasha Kazaskina, so which was something we thought potentially could go the other way, but yeah, I think she's a force to be reckoned with, and as Fitzy said, she's a really good clay court player. I watched her a little bit. But no one expected her that she'd be in this position.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple of her media interviews. She's pretty funny too.
Yeah.
She's got
She
a
looks
bit of
like a good
personality.
laugh.
I think she's going to be good for the tennis world.
And she's still very young. She's only 22, isn't she?
She's a baby.
Yeah.
Born in Dijon.
Right
Like
next.
Dijon mustard.
Yeah,
She can do a Moutard commercial.
Yeah, it's the village next to Hot English.
Listen to you. You've been practicing that.
Yeah, across the Seine from horseradish creme.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've
Good
gone
for
right.
her. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Great
It's
to see.
amazing.
Great for her, great for tennis, great for the French.
Great for the French. Great
Boom.
for the tournament.
Great for Grand
Yeah.
Slams. When players from Grand
Oh,
Slam
look at
nations
Craig's
do
eyes
well.
light up. Anything that's great
Yeah.
for a Grand Slam, he gets all
Absolutely.
excited.
When they step up and do well in their home slam, it's really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if that buzz keeps going, we might see her here in January.
Oh yeah,
For the Australian
absolutely we
Open?
will.
Yeah, it's
We
gonna be
will,
brilliant.
absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's stick with the French for a little bit.
Yeah.
Keeping with Roland Garros. Now, Brie, you've been keeping your finger on the pulse of tennis news. What caught your eye?
Well, I thought it would be remiss of us not to chat about one of the big stories that's come out of Roland Garros, which is all around the scheduling and the women's matches. And we've seen Ons Jabeur came out with, quite an articulate, really interesting perspective that she put on social media. So I just kind of wanted to open that up because obviously scheduling, and for listeners out there, we don't even know half of it, Craig, but
Luckily, we've
scheduling
got
is
the king of
the king of
scheduling
scheduling.
himself. Yeah.
Scheduling is not an easy thing to do. And there's lots of things that come into consideration, like broadcast and player, all this kind of stuff. So, obviously it's a big thing in France right now and around the world in terms of that. And that's kind of what caught my eye.
It's a big thing to catch your eye because everyone's writing about it. And look, there are many factors that go into making a decision on scheduling. The French will have their factors there and their considerations that they're going to take on board and different circumstances to us. We have 26 sessions over the course of the fortnight and a session every night. So there's 14 nights of tennis and at least one session every night. Some nights there's 3 courts playing with 2 matches. We generally schedule. We always do schedule 2 matches, so we share it between the men and the women. We start earlier. We start at 7.
Yeah.
And it's even. Sometimes the men go first. Sometimes the women go first. And some years you may have it's more skewed towards the women and more skewed towards the men as far as the number. But generally we try and keep it the same as much as we possibly can. There's the added complication of 3 sets versus 5 sets. And,
Yeah, good point.
and that's just a time. That's not a value because you can get 3-set matches. It can be
Long.
long, but also
More
better than the
intense,
5-set
exciting.
matches, more intense. So, but it's just on average the 3 sets are going to be shorter. And look, I can't go into. I haven't spoken to anyone at the French Tennis Federation, so I can't go into the basis of their decisions. But our decisions are, there's what the broadcasters want, what the players want, the gap between when you played your last match, you're playing singles, doubles, mixed. Also what the players, the players are a big part of that too. Some like day, some like night. So you take all these into consideration and you do the best you can. And because you're dealing with 2 people each time, you're never going to get it 100%.
No one's ever going to be happy, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's
Someone's
so many...
going to lose out at the end of the day when it comes to the scheduling.
Much like tennis, there will be one winner and someone who wish for a different result.
Well,
We'll
at
say.
128 draws, there'll be 127 that lose.
I know, right? That stat always upsets me for players.
Yeah, until you see the prize money stats and you're like, oh, they're all right.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's why most of us felt like a loser all the time.
Yeah. Oh, I've got many reasons for mine, but I won't bore the audience with that. But there's so many stakeholders, Craig. Yes, the players, but you've got broadcasters, local fans, ticket holders, people around the world.
And they do start later, like 8:20 was
They
their
do
start
start
time,
late,
wasn't
yeah.
it? Which I thought was quite late.
It's a new initiative. It's only been a couple of years that they actually have a night match because they normally just like Wimbledon do
Just
have
roll through.
roll through the evening.
Got you.
And so it's a new thing, and they've got one match, so they've got to take that into consideration. And there's other things too, is, where players have come off events. Are they a little bit injured? Are they not 100% healthy? You have to consider that as well. So
Could there be a default?
could there be a default? So and we've had
that would derail everything.
We've had that. We've had women's final default, played 5 games, and then you just got to be ready. But what we do is when we have one match, we make sure we've got something to swing in, or we've got some other activity like the great legends of John Fitzgerald waiting in the wings to come and have a bit of a hit. But
Yeah,
it's hard
I
to
remember
keep them off
that.
the court,
Yeah, I
really.
remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
Exactly.
It does.
Yeah, let's cross to the fan.
But at the end of the day, what you try and do with your fans, globally around the world and here on the precinct, you try and provide them with 2, 3, 4 hours of some great content, and then sometimes it does go longer, and that's why we have late night finishes. And then you get the complaint, well, there should only
It's
be one
going
match.
too late, Craig.
Yeah.
What are you
We
doing?
only one
It's
match
not-
will start earlier. We cannot start earlier than 7:00. The news in
Yeah.
Australia is between 6 and 7, and so starting earlier than 7:00 is not an option because no one's going to be watching the tennis, and the sport doesn't want that because they're watching the news. And so we start on bang on 7:00, and then sometimes you can have 2 long matches,
Yeah, definitely.
and then you finish at 2 in the morning, and then everyone complains. But,
But I've got
sometimes
to
you
say,
finish
a
at
lot of the
11.
fans who stay in the stadiums to watch matches love the late
They do.
matches. A lot of
Yeah.
my tennis hungry friends are like,
Yeah.
love how long that went. It was so
That's right. Yeah,
amazing.
they do.
So again, it's the whole thing with what we do. You're never going to make everyone happy,
No, exactly.
sadly.
That's right.
And there's the hardcore, like, keen fans in the stadium who love that. But you got to remember, 99 point something of the people watching the match are at home, whether it's in Melbourne or
That's
Sydney or
Worldwide.
Paris or
Yeah.
Timbuktu.
Yeah.
It's,
And
a
you've
lot
got to
of
try and
stakeholders.
match that up because if you're sitting in Europe or if you're in a time zone that's 14 hours behind, it'd be nice to give them the second match so it's early in the morning when they're getting up. And
Yeah.
so you got to take those into consideration as well.
Yeah. Or in the middle of their workday and their boss going, "Why are you watching the tennis?" It's like, it's
Do
the
you know what?
Australian
That's
Open.
one of the best things about our jobs.
We get paid to watch tennis.
The tennis is on
Yeah.
right now out there.
All right. Well, I think well handled, Craig.
Yeah.
I think we've got a bit of a better understanding of scheduling,
Yeah.
but it will always be a backwards and forwards,
It
up
is,
and down.
and there's variables, and when it comes to the 1 or the 2 matches, that's a decision that Roland Garros
Yeah.
takes.
And like
that's
you
not
don't have
ours.
to make that
So,
decision.
no, we don't because we have 2.
We're down here. We've got heaps of course.
We
with
focus on what we do, and we try and do as best as we possibly can to make it as fair. We all say that I always say to the players that we'll make sure it's fair, not necessarily equal.
Well, yeah, because it can't be.
Because it
can
can't be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the
Otherwise you're
point?
lying.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, don't give them a trophy. Be like, everyone's a winner. All right. Well, I'm going to thank you very much, Craig. That was very insightful. Brie, well asked.
Thank
well
you.
answered, do you think?
Oh, very well answered.
Okay, good.
But that's why I wanted to ask it because I find scheduling so interesting.
Yeah.
It is. It's one of the
Yeah.
biggest. We will sometimes spend 6 to 8 hours the day before making a decision on the schedule for the
And
next
it's a
day.
real
And that's why
debate.
you've got
And
the
it's a
putt-putt
debate.
golf in there, isn't it?
Well,
to help you think.
That's for a bit of fun. But in the room, and also keep in mind the room is also secure because
Yeah.
if the people are betting on scheduling and they're betting on when someone's going to be on, and then if it gets out of the room before it's actually published, then they can the odds change. But in the room you have the referee, you have a representative of the international broadcasters, a representative of the domestic broadcast, you have a representative from the men's tour, a representative from the women's tour, you have someone from integrity, someone from security to make sure that you're not putting nations at war with each other right next to each other. I'm in there as well representing the tournament, and that group gets together 6-8 hours the day before to make some decision on the scheduling for the next day. Because remember, it's not just the show course we're scheduling; it's all 14 courses.
There's a
that we're
lot of
scheduling.
tennis to put on.
It's crazy.
And amongst all of those important people, there's also a kid from Brie's team in the corner waiting to tweet out the schedule.
That's right.
Got to
There
be
is.
first.
Not
Got to
too
be
early.
first. Not too early.
I was in there once.
Oh, even I can't get in there. I'm just nose to the
I
glass.
did it once my first year. It was really interesting to sit in there and watch how it happens. Yeah.
We average 24 variables per match.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
So variable is injury, previous match time finish, previous match time start, what market they're in, who their sponsors are, which broadcaster wants them internationally, which ones wants them domestically. Are they playing singles? Are they playing double? You can go on, but on average,
I mean, it sounds stressful. I mean, Craig's only 33. Look at him.
So would it be fair to say It's really easy to criticise, isn't it?
No, it is.
Yes.
Yeah,
It is.
I can
But
imagine
that's
it
right.
is.
That's right.
Fun
you know.
too.
If you're not being criticised, you're not doing anything.
Exactly. You've got to mix the pot. All right. Well, thank you very much, Craig. We'll crack on with some more eye-catching moments from tennis. This one's from me. I do love a bit of a punt for our international listeners. That means a bit of a gamble, a play, but never
I
on
don't think
tennis.
you can say that, can you?
No.
Or do it. But
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, talk about it. Don't do it.
yeah.
Anyway, I do have a point. Bublik, he's had a pretty good run, but a bit of a bumpy start to the year. And he's the first Kazakh man to reach a Grand Slam quarterfinal. First 10 matches in 2025, things weren't going well. His coach and his team said, you know what you need? A weekend in Vegas. And he hit Vegas. Won't say what he did, but he had some fun and he came back a new man. And frankly, that caught my eye because good on you, mate. Any other thoughts on Bublik? I just want to talk about gambling.
Well, when I heard them ask the question, they were asking in the context of, did you take your rackets in practice? And he just smiled and he said, no, I was just in Vegas having
Yeah.
some fun. But
I'm sure there's a tennis court somewhere in Vegas.
different kind of preparation.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Risky.
doesn't work for everyone.
No, it wouldn't work for everyone, I don't
Yeah,
think.
just he didn't have any prize money to put in, so maybe he'll head back to something nice
He's
in
got
Monte
some
Carlo.
now.
Yeah, he's done well
but
now.
he certainly was playing well, wasn't he?
Yeah, look, he's a bit different, isn't he? His
Yeah.
character. He comes from a different space, but
Very much.
if he can put it together,
Yep.
you
Good
know.
player.
Well, the
Yeah,
pieces are there.
sure
He's taken
is.
out 2 Aussies in Duckworth and
Scary
Demonor.
serve. I
Took
wouldn't
out
want to be on
Rocha.
the end of
Yeah,
it.
and it's good serve.
And then Draper.
Yeah, if he can keep focused, he
More
can be a big
Vegas.
player in the next few years, I think.
Well, if he can count cards, he can.
If
I was convinced Draper was going to win that match and,
Yeah.
play, and
Yeah.
play Sinner in the quarters. Because I feel Draper's is one of the future superstars of the game. Both him and Fonseca, I think, are the two.
Oh, absolutely.
Future,
And like
so,
Draper went into RG as the 5th seed.
Yeah,
So, all eyes were on him.
yeah.
But then this
No,
happened.
he's a really good player.
Now, Craig,
Yeah.
time for your what caught your eye. I saw you on the telly earlier this week. The
Yeah,
Today Show.
what caught my eye is not specifically what happens as Roland Garros, because there's many things every day that
Exactly.
catch your eye, but what caught my eye is a bit of a plug as well.
Yeah, I was going to say.
$565
Strap in,
million
folks. Here we go.
of
Do we have a
direct
presentation?
economic impact. No, I don't have a presentation. I don't think that
you don't
screen
look
actually
like a
works.
self-promoted to me.
No,
you
no,
don't.
no, I'm not. For the event I am and for the business I am, but yeah, $565 million of direct economic impact to the state of
Cha-ching.
Victoria. Cha-ching. It's a massive. And,
Massive.
it's
That's mouthwater. It's
It's
staggering.
amazing.
well, and over the last 10 years, a little over $3.5 billion
Straight
in direct
to the
economic,
state, to
straight to
Victoria.
the state, straight to Victoria. Mostly the city of Melbourne, but straight to Victoria.
Huge. No wonder we've got new hospitals popping up everywhere. This is great.
Or 1.2 million fans through the gate, and around the world, a little under 2 billion that watched it. So if you think about it, that's a third of the world's population.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So big numbers.
What are the rest of you doing?
Exactly, but
Anyway.
big numbers for for the Australian Open this year and for the business. We're very proud of it, and grown tremendously in Asia, in the Asia Pacific region,
Yeah.
South America, a new market that we've focused on, doing really well. So so we're excited about what on the horizon is.
And like 442,000 nights in hotels were booked.
It's a lot.
It's crazy.
That's
it's
centuries.
So good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the hoteliers always tell us that they need more hotels specifically for January. But we kickstart the year for Australia and actually for the world in sport and entertainment. That's what happened during COVID while everyone was, had a lot of misery at home.
Yep.
You flick on the TV or you look at your device and you can see this beautiful blue sky.
Yeah,
and
rather than
sunshine.
doom
Everyone
scrolling.
having a lot of fun.
Yeah. I remember working that tournament. That was bizarre, but geez, it was very calm on site. I loved it.
It was.
Yeah.
Missed our fans, don't get me wrong. But no, it was
Yeah,
quite
so
May
a
that
trip to
never
get
happen again, but yes,
No.
it sounds calm.
Yeah. No, that's good.
No,
Take that
yeah.
economic impact.
Yeah, we would absolutely take it. But it just shows you that again, it is the largest annual sporting and entertainment event in the Southern Hemisphere each year, the largest event in the world in January, and we're proud of what we do for the country.
Well, that's all well and good, Craig.
Yeah.
What's next? How do we go bigger?
Yeah, how do we keep
Well, we
making
got
sure
we
we
got some
can do
plans
that?
which are going to announce maybe even on this
Ooh.
oval table, round table
Yeah.
podcast.
This is exciting.
We'll have probably in the next couple of months some initiatives to announce.
Oh, not
for
right
January.
now. You're not going to be like, hey, we're building our own hotel in the shape
No.
of a tennis ball.
He's
on
going to be
top of
waiting
Rod
for
Laver.
someone else to host it. So.
Maybe something like
actual
but
professional.
We need different hosts.
Okay.
Yeah, someone that's,
Yeah, it's been noted. Yeah, you keep drinking your drink, Craig. It's definitely water.
my Alcaraz water bottle. I just grabbed it on the
my
way
God,
down.
I love
and I just
that.
saw his name on there.
Hound
But
Carlos texted me, where's my bloody water bottle? Yeah,
don't know.
Craig flogged it.
the water does taste. It may have been in there since January.
Yeah.
It does taste a bit different.
It's definitely sangria, but that's fine.
But I did grab it. I was thirsty on the way down.
So, in terms of these figures, what does it mean for the average fan? Does it mean that every fan who comes to the Australian Open is actually assisting us in keeping the Victorian economy going well.
Well, to flip it the other way around, Brie, our goal objective is to provide every fan with a memorable experience.
Yep.
And we want to surprise and delight them like they've never been surprised and delighted before. So they always want to come back. We have a lot of returning fans. We have a large group that comes from overseas, a lot from interstate. About 60% come from Victoria itself. So that's our first objective. And then in doing that, then people will buy more tickets, go and buy some merchandise, have something to eat. And maybe our international visitor stays on average 4 nights in the city, and that's where a lot of the economic impact comes from is that spend. And
the long spend.
Yeah, absolutely. So the more we get people coming in from overseas, from interstate, that boosts it a lot, and then of course coming from outside of the city of Melbourne as well. And there's just a lot to do, and our job is to give them just a complete variety of experiences.
And to make sure they then leave and book instantly to come again.
Yeah. Well, I even noticed this year that like the sort of premium experiences, they were available pretty much straight after this year's AO for next year's AO.
Yeah.
So you can have that moment of like, that was great. I need to book in now before it goes.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
Yeah. No, well done, Craig, and everyone at Team Tennis Australia in the Australian Open.
Team
yes,
effort,
that includes us.
massive team
but,
effort includes you too. It's a team effort.
I mean, I just get to yell at a microphone for a while.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good gig. But Craig, you just got back from Paris.
Yep.
There's some tennis thing happening over there. That's great. What else did you get up to?
Well, there was a lot going on in the discussion what's happening with global tennis.
I still got his business hat on.
So I had to put my business hat on.
I just want to talk about Bordeaux or something.
Oh,
But yeah.
no, I don't quite get to Bordeaux. Straight into Paris and straight out of Paris.
Yeah, what do you think Craig's doing?
Well, not what I thought he was doing.
Yeah, I'm working. I don't do what you do when you go to these Grand Slam
junket.
trips.
I mean,
trip.
What do you call it? Yeah, work trip.
Fun trip.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of Grand Slam board meetings, meetings with players, meetings with partners, meetings with potential partners, entertaining some partners that are wanting to make an investment in the Australian Open or are currently doing it. And so it was I think it'd be in the 10 days, and went a bit earlier because it was a scheduled player meeting with the top 5 players around compensation and are the slams giving their fair share and giving enough. But that's always an ongoing conversation, and there's always a little bit of education in how the distribution does happen and what happens in the investment and the business model. And we've also been a player-first event, so specifically when the players talk to us, they're also very appreciative of what we've done for them.
They do seem to love the AO, the players, or
They
am I
do.
just
I
blinded
think
by?
there's a lot to do. Time of the year, January, we're right next to the city. You can walk in and out, but then also what we provide as a service. And generally, when you come to Australia at the beginning of the year, you got this welcoming environment. All of our staff, and even showing up at the airport, and people are generally pleased to see you and want to have you having a good time.
God, I wonder what that's like. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you not something you personally experience.
No, I get off the plane at Melbourne Airport and it's just like,
Yeah.
why is everyone looking at me like that?
Yeah. There's
Anyway,
no one to
I'm
greet
getting
you.
dark here. But anyway, take your tournament director hat off for a minute. Pop
Yeah,
your
sure.
Tennis Australia CEO hat on.
Yeah.
Aussie tennis. Emerson Jones.
Yes.
Yeah, quarterfinals.
Yeah, that's
Quarterfinals,
huge.
Yeah, they're playing in America next, I think, and so she's playing great tennis. Yeah, she's number one in the world in the juniors, up and coming superstar. Works really hard, got a great game. It's got a lot of upside. So, it's day by day for her, and month by month, and year by year. There's nothing you can rush into.
But
You
an
don't say.
amazing career.
But so
ahead.
far been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
really
like,
exciting.
I will say that the junior tournament, especially at the Grand Slam level, it is some good tennis.
It is.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of like, these aren't kids. These are
Yeah,
pros in
they're
the making.
Younger
They're-
belts
they're-
for sure. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're incredible.
Yeah. And we should get more people out watching them.
Great
so
shout.
if you are at Roland Garros, go check out the
You
juniors
go early,
as
go to
well.
one of the other courts, and you'll see
Yeah.
some wicked tennis, and you can
It's
get some
pretty
great
good.
seats.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally.
Yeah. We've shared a little bit on. Well, I mean, I think when it comes, I think global sport. Alex de Minaur's comments after he lost his match
Yep.
around he's just exhausted, and you could see that when he was playing Bublik. He won the first set pretty easily, and then he just ran out of steam.
Yeah.
And then he just felt at the end that he just didn't have any energy or any steam, and I empathized with that and agreed with him. The schedule is the way it's set up. You've got to chase points to keep your ranking high. To do that, you've got to play every week, week in and out, and you start before the first of the year when you get, and particularly this year because we started the 26th or 27th of December.
Yeah.
So you start before, and then if you're playing the Davis Cup finals at the end of the year, you're at the end of November, and you have maybe a week off, and then you're back into preseason training. Just not enough for the rigorous play that these top players, both on the women and the men's side, perform at, and the level they perform at. They need more of an off season.
Yeah.
So So totally agree with Alex. There's a proposal on the table. There's an opportunity to change things and to develop an environment where fans know where the players are going and the commitment that the players make. There's a proper off-season. But you've got to bring all these 7 governing bodies, which there's 7 governing bodies in tennis, 4 slams, men's tour, women's tour, and the ITF. You've got to bring them together and to
All agree.
all agree.
Yeah.
All
But I
get
guarantee,
aligned.
even if hypothetically we found a nice little 3 or 4 week gap for him, some billionaire would come in and create an EXO match for them.
Potentially, but I think you create a tour where it's so important,
Viable.
and so valuable, so
Yes.
important, and so valuable for the players. But that becomes their focus. And whatever they do in between, then it's on them.
Yeah, that's
then
up
you
to
can't
them.
you can't
Then you
complain
can't
about
complain.
Yeah,
about
exactly.
schedule.
The analogy I said to Fitzy before is like, if you work a double shift at Macca's, you can't then whinge about being tired. It's like, yeah, you chose to do 2 shifts in a row.
Yeah, but I think in the case of we put look, I'll come on the player.
Craig didn't
Bit
like
No, I
mine.
didn't like the analogy because I put it on the player side.
More of a
here, is that
KFC man.
the way it's set up, the double shift you choose, but in tennis you don't necessarily choose because if you want to keep your ranking
The
high,
floor in my analogy.
you've got to keep playing. You've got to chase. And then I'll go down there and I'll play that event down there because I may have a better chance of getting into the finals and maybe a 250 or 500. And then all of a sudden you've got the number 5 player in the world playing at 250. And then the fan will say, well, what does this mean?
The fans probably going, sweet, these cheap tickets are going to be great.
So if Roland Garros finishes this weekend and if you said to just your average tennis fan, so what's on next week? What event's on next
They'd
week?
be like, Wimbledon? That's what they'd say. They wouldn't be right, but that's been the guess.
That's my point. So
Yep,
you know the
absolutely.
4 majors.
Great.
Yeah. And there's all the others in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
When you really look deep, there's a lot of tennis.
Yeah.
It
there-
never stops.
No.
But
Yeah.
there's an opportunity. I think there's an opportunity to elevate the whole thing for everyone. So
Yeah.
just heads around how we get aligned on that.
Yeah. All right. Well, last one on Aussie tennis. Nick Kyrgios has just announced that he's not feeling up to the grass swing, so he's not going to be playing there. What's your hope for young NK?
Well, still young, just to be healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my wish for him is just to be healthy, and then
Such a dad.
and then-
It's a good thing.
Yeah, it is a good thing. And then to just do what he wants to do. And
Yeah.
I think if he wants to come out and play, be healthy, come out and play. If he doesn't, that's fine too. But I think there's been a lot of pressure on him, pretty much right throughout his career. He's a highly talented individual. He's had some big wins, big results, and then the public has that expectation. Maybe he does too. That expectation that'll just roll out every week like that. And
Yep.
it doesn't
Yeah.
work like that. And Fitzy, as a former player, will tell you that it doesn't work like that. It's a grind, and so for him just to be healthy, and then after that, it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Fitzy you were saying about your grind when you were a player, just woofing through croissants.
Well,
I didn't have a nutritionist.
He does that now. Not just when he
the
was a
higher
player.
the higher the grind, the less talent.
You got to have calories to burn.
the less talent. So the worse you were as a player, the harder you had to work. Good
point.
It was a grind.
Yeah.
But if you don't play consistently, it's very hard to get miles in your legs.
Yes.
And so then to switch the tap on again after you've been out, not played, injured, haven't played, no match condition. It's very difficult to flick the switch, and the longer that goes, the harder it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That words of wisdom. I'm happy to leave that there because that is bang on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Hope
well-
he gets better soon with all his injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be right. He'll probably come back with a cool new haircut and a greener car. Anyway, it's time for a quick break here from the tennis. But Craig, you going to stick around?
What's a bake? Someone's gonna bring a cake.
Okay, welcome back, folks. So over the last few weeks for Roland Garros, while you were actually heading over there, I think you touched on it last week, the team on the show, we did a bit of a fantasy draft pick for Roland Garros. Do you want to bring those up? So Luke Saville, Viv and Simon Ray.
Did you not do it?
No, I was like emceeing it.
Oh, got you.
Hosting, some would say.
Yeah.
And basically picking 2 players that were men, 2 women, going into RG who would go the furthest, get points. So obviously they did pretty well. All 3 teams each have 1 man and 1 woman remaining. So Luke Saville, Alcaraz and Iga, and Viv had Sabalenka and Novak, and Simon, Coco and Sinner. So if you had to pick a team, obviously they're not in the room, they're not listening. Luke's busy.
Well, I heard a rumour that
Yeah.
our own Teddy Woodbridge,
Yeah.
Toddy,
Yeah.
was having a bit of a crack at
Well, it
it.
wasn't
He was
a rumour.
having he was having a crack
That
at
actually
Viv
happened.
for choosing Djokovic. He was like,
I
why
wanna
would
hear-
you
I'm here to
choose
defend
that?
Viv.
Good.
I'm here to
She
defend
got
her.
it right. She got it right.
Well, yeah, she's got
Yeah.
2 out of the 4. Like,
I mean,
like,
pretty
like,
good
like everyone
picks.
else.
It looks like they're given 2 regular favourites and 2
Well, they have.
Yeah, they've gone
potentials.
Yeah.
a dark horse and
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
going to win it.
A little bit more adventure, I would say, in Viv's choices.
Yeah.
I think so too.
And good on her.
With Rude and
Some would say out of the 3 of them,
Queenie?
she's the smartest of the group.
Well, that's
The
probably
deepest thinker.
Yeah.
yeah.
Very
be.
analytical. She's got a big brain. I
Could
mean,
be.
he's a data scientist, and yet
right. That's why he needs
And
to
Luke's
be a
a South
data
Australian,
scientist.
Tom.
You need data to be smart.
This is
You can't
true.
just naturally be smart.
whereas Viv, natural God-given
Yeah,
talent.
exactly.
And Luke's a South Aussie, so I'm.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Yeah.
your
I
sub-patriotism
love the bloke.
irritates. So if you had to pick a team, who would you go with? Would you go with Luke, Viv, or Simon?
Well, I can understand Luke absolutely going with defending champion
Yep.
and a 4-time winner.
Yeah.
That just makes.
Sense.
Yeah.
That's an easy choice.
Yeah, but
I don't blame you for
historical
making it.
results can't always be used to predict the future.
I'm just wondering if it's Sinner's turn. Is it too early in after the 3 months off to actually win a slam? But he hasn't really been tested. He should be fresh.
No, fair call.
It could well be his time. And I have a soft spot for Sinner. He's going to win all 4. So's Alcaraz, by the way, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
In their
He'll win
career
here
or
in
this
Australia
year?
at some stage, Craig. Look, and it might be Coco's turn at the French too.
Definitely.
So-
She's
so
looking amazing out there.
I'm going to go out on a small limb.
Yeah, I go with Team Simon.
I'm going Team Simon.
Right. Okay. No, well thought through. Probably more thought
But I
than
love
Luke gave
Viv's
into his.
adventurous
Yes.
spirit. Yeah.
And we just love Viv. Hi, Viv. I know
Yeah.
you're listening.
Yeah, I do too.
Craig?
Yes. Team
Which two?
Luke.
Team Luke.
Team Luke.
All
Hard,
right,
to, be, hard
Alcaraz.
to beat Alcaraz.
Fair enough. Is that because you've got his drink bottle?
Oh, yes, and and at least I get 50% right. If
Yeah, actually, I think
Yeah.
50% of the proceeds. Yeah, the prize money.
Collusion.
Big stakes here at the tennis. No, fair enough. I mean, it's Carlos.
I think Coco's going in as a favourite now at this
Okay.
point, and Alcaraz.
it's nice sitting at this point of the event where you've got a bit more information than they had
Yeah.
when they were picking.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yes,
It's
yes
a,
and no.
It's a big match in the women's semi-final at the top, though.
Yeah,
Big
definitely.
match.
But
And
how can you
Swiatek-
possibly take out Sabalenka?
Well, because
No, she
Swiatek's game is suited more to clay. That's how.
Yeah.
And she's won 4 times.
Yeah, but Sabalenka could, like, they're playing on red brick. She could run through a brick wall.
Yeah.
She could. She could.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
No, of course she can win. She's #1 seed, but Swiatek's game is suited more to the. I just don't quite know if she's at the peak of her powers
Okay.
at the moment. But
She needs bigger headphones. It's my
that
favourite
right?
thing about
Is
Iga.
that
When she
right?
comes on
Yeah,
court,
she's got
she
her
seems to have
headphones
bigger
on.
headphones
Yeah.
every time. It's like she's got 2 pillows strapped to the
you've
side
got to
of
be
her head.
careful. You might take off if they keep getting.
Yeah,
too
absolutely. All right, Brie, what about you?
I'm torn because I kind of like what Viv has done, but I'm still not sure whether Djokovic can beat Sinner in his next round.
Be a good, yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
a 2-horse race, so you never know.
Yeah, I know. It's 50-50, isn't it?
Yeah. That's why it's so much fun.
But I kind of want to go with Viv because it is risky and I like to be
True,
risky.
living on the edge.
Yeah,
I mean,
living
we've
on the
seen your
edge.
pants. You obviously like to take gambles, and that's good. All right. Well, if you want to give us your
Yeah.
opinions, pick a team, or even tell us who you were planning to choose yourself, jump on YouTube, put it in the comments. Andy and Harper will read it because that's their job, and they love it. Now, as you all know, and Craig, I know you're a keen subscriber, we have another podcast in our AO Originals network, The Sit Down with Viv and Matt. Now, this week they caught up with 2016 French Open champion Garbine Muguruza. On the episode, she actually goes through her predictions for the Roland Garros
Ooh.
Championship, which is pretty good juicy
Love.
stuff. So we've got a little clip here. We'll play that now.
I mean, I gotta put Sabalenka up there. She's like the number one by far. So many different in points, and she just won Madrid. Yeah, she won Madrid. Coco, good as well. Coco, she's just amazing on clay courts. She just lost 2 finals. I mean, she's gonna be up there in the quarter semis. As a clay court player, I really like Zen. Zen is an amazing clay court player. She's, I feel like she just has the perfect clay courts game. And who else? It's already 3 and Iga, of course, she's won 4 times French Open. Can you believe it? 4 times. It's insane that she's so young and she's won it 4 times. She's gonna, if she keeps going like this, she's gonna, make a record. I don't know who's the most women's players that have won more French Opens, but she's probably up there.
So some insightful things there, but you can listen to the full ep. It's out now. Actually, it went out on Monday.
It did.
Cool. So jump in your feeds, wherever you get your podcasts, listen to The Sit Down. Now, speaking of former champions at Roland Garros, it's time for a little bit of musical Guess Who. So the real question is, what is musical Guess Who? Well, Harper and the team have been putting together some shenanigans, some would say. And why just give you some clues? This person was born in this year in this place when we can do it in song. It was very hard to stop Harper whipping out his ukulele, which is not a euphemism.
Yeah.
And we've got 5 songs, and he's tweaked the lyrics a bit to give us a little bit of a
Clue.
clue. All right, so we'll kick us off with our first one.
So what do we need to do? We need to
Okay, good point.
guess the tune
Yeah, so
and then guess the player.
what is the real song? So
Yeah.
And then what's the
and then who is the song singing about?
Okay.
So buzz in with your name. Harps will stop the tape, and we'll just see how this goes.
Yeah, fun.
Love that this isn't live.
Great.
Let's see what happens. Harps, hit it.
Number 4 was my ranking high. At AO I said goodbye. At Roland Garros I recall when I got
Harper, Rafa,
Hey, hey,
Nadal.
No, I'm saying Fitzy.
You go.
Okay, so you're saying
I know the.
Rafa?
I think I know the player. I just can't get the song.
Okay, well, well, you can still get a point for that.
Andy Murray.
No,
Not.
incorrect. And yours was
Rafa.
bum bum. Brie,
I've got nothing.
also incorrect.
Is that a player?
The player is Sam Stosur. So if you listen carefully to those lyrics,
Well, I did, but
yeah,
anyway.
that's okay. Anyone got the song? I'll give you a hint. Toy Story.
No.
Nah.
Songs we're not there, I don't think.
Okay, let's just see if we can figure it out. So let's keep playing Harps.
But we already know who it is.
Yeah, but don't you want to see when it makes sense?
I just remember back in 2010, runner up to
There you go.
Steve.
Yeah, see, that would have given it
We've got
away.
to stay there a little bit
If
longer.
you just had a few more seconds of patience.
All
right, Harps, kill it there. That's Harper, by the way. If anyone's wondering who's
I
on-
know I'm no good at this. I said, and because I think they said peaked at number 4. Is that right? Yeah. I think Andy might be a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
He might be saying.
He's going to be texting as well, going,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
Hang on a sec.
I
jump
apologise,
on
Andy.
Wikipedia,
Apologise,
mate.
big fella.
All right, give us your second one, Harps.
In France, I've made 4 quarterfinals
Waterloo?
in 8 years.
Yes,
By
correct.
ABBA?
Point
My
for Brie.
dad,
Oops, here we go. Talking
he
about his dad.
coached me up to the Paris Olympic Games last year. The silverware sits on the shelf.
Fitzy.
Right,
Sitsipas.
It is Stefanos Tsitsipas. Well
very
done.
good.
Nice.
And Brie, you also
Song
got
I
a
had
point.
Said you know
I had
majors.
no clue.
Bye-bye.
Dun-dun.
Waterloo. Yeah, ABBA.
That's good. All right, well,
Good
1
song.
point each.
Well, team effort.
Yeah.
exactly.
How many points do I have? 2?
Do you have to say your name? You said you had to say your name. Didn't you?
I thought you were telling it was yourself. I couldn't figure it out.
No, he was actually a member of
Did you
ABBA.
see my clay court game?
That's very good. All right. Okay, this is going to be a fun one. I reckon, Craig, you're in with this.
Okay.
Complete guess on that, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah.
Harps, hit it.
I grew up with a weirdo parent. I thought playing tennis could be worth the world.
Good parent.
By
That
time
pays
I'm
something.
one of the most
No?
influential people in the whole wide world.
You know.
Thank God
It is Black
Dad
Eyed Peas.
played badminton in Hubei and helped me trailblaze.
Oh, boy. I was going to say Diego Schwartzman.
Is this the same song as last time?
Hey,
Here we go. 2011.
Bye.
27.
Oh,
Outcast.
Oh, Brie is really focusing on the song, and it's just like, I don't care about tennis. These guys are reading the lyrics, listening intently. Okay, so it is Hey Ya. You get a point for that. Well done, Brie. Now, gentlemen, do you need some more info? Here we go. One in Melbourne.
Oh.
Rhymes with that.
Oh, Michael Chang.
Lina.
Lena! Craig
it's
Tiley
a
gets
woman.
it.
Well done.
Well done,
Well
Craig.
done.
Yeah, no, that was good. See?
I mean, it was basically up there.
I thought Hart was singing the same song.
Okay.
Well done, mate, Lino.
All right, well done. Point for Craig and a point for Brie for getting the song.
Song,
So
yeah.
that's good. Right, this really matters.
She's going to win the songs.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next one. Hit it, Harps.
Second born son of immigrants, I might be the sports king's
Tommy Paul.
fisherman.
Good guess, but no.
Ditching school to chase my tennis dream till I cracked top 200 at the age of 15. I was born
Born in the
Born in the
USA.
USA.
Correct. Okay, Fitzy's
Yeah.
getting
Good
that one.
song.
Yeah.
Aldred and Meryl Streep.
Jersey.
Wanna slam when I was still a teen. The youngest man the world has.
Michael Chang.
Michael Chang.
Michael Chang. Craig gets the point.
Oh, that was my
Well
guess
done.
when it was Lena.
Yeah. I think you were just reading over my shoulder and you read
I
the wrong
actually
one.
wasn't.
You just
Because
read the
I
wrong
listened-
answer.
No, I listened to Michael Chang on the sit down.
What's it like watching yourself sing that, by the way, Hubs?
He loves it. Don't you?
Awkward. Yeah.
Okay, last one. This one's a little bit trickier because all the others have
God.
been
It's trickier than
incredibly
before.
easy.
Yeah, they've been
But I've got a
very different.
feeling that this is going to be the
Is
last
that the
one.
name of the song?
Good question. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
there you
All right.
go.
Someone gets all the peanuts out of this. All right, Harps, hit it.
Though I tried my best, I could not succeed.
Coldplay.
Coldplay, yeah.
Good. Come on, what's the
Coldplay.
song?
Fix me.
I was
Oh,
good on
come on,
the
it's not that. Go, Craig.
It is.
Nope.
Clocks.
Nope.
Watches.
Now I'm going to get the play.
Alex Correcha.
Fix you.
Fix you, correct. Sorry, Brie, they're playing a completely different game to you.
Can I choose another one?
You can go, keep going until you're blue in the face.
Korea. Give him a Korea.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's actually wrong, though.
Gaston Gaudio.
When I shot rapper and I led the race.
Stan Wawrinka.
Oh, yeah. No. Swedish. You should get this one.
Played Roger
And then I played it.
I've got no idea.
Some, though.
I know him well. Tall, Swedish.
Okay.
Beat Rafa to give Roger the chance to win.
Yep.
Oh, my God. It's Robin Soderlund.
Yes.
So-
CT
sorry,
for
Robin,
the win.
sorry.
You get all the biscuits. Craig Tiley,
Well done, mate.
on the balance of it, you bloody won that.
I got all the songs. Got all the songs.
You're a rock and roller at heart, aren't you?
No, that was brilliant.
It's fun.
No,
well done, Harper. Oh,
That was weird. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're very much in tune.
Yeah.
No, that was great. Well done, Harps. We probably won't do it ever again, but geez, it
No,
was fun.
it was
yeah, it was fun.
Okay, well, it's time for our favourite time of the week, which is your ace of the week. So this will take us out. Craig, you can hurry up and get out of here and go back to doing more meaningful things and
Yes.
having fun with us. But we'll start with you. Do you have an ace of the week?
I actually do have ace of the week. I think, and I saw some great images, and I sent a text. There was a person who loves the game of tennis, used to played professionally, has now got a big job in Qatar. The CEO, chairman of BN Sports,
Oh, wow.
but also the president of Paris Saint-Germain. And the last 10 years, he's been trying to get Paris Saint-Germain to win the Champions League. And they won, of course, 5-0. So, and then they took the trophy to Roland Garros
saw that.
with all his friends
Amazing.
because he wanted to have tennis celebrate the trophy, which meant so much to him because he had put 10 years, and it was pretty cool to see Nasser Al-Khelaifi enjoy what had been a tough journey for him.
That's brilliant.
Awesome.
So
Very good.
amazing.
I don't know how we're going to
That's
top
a
that.
great
but
ace
Fitzy,
of the week.
that
We
was really
should have popped you last.
That's probably the best one we've had on the show to date. Unless Fitzy's like, hey, there was one Oz Lotto winner last night.
No,
it was me.
Look, just very quickly, I think I'd like to mention Rafa again because I wasn't here last week when you talked about his
Gotcha, yep.
celebration.
Yes.
What a record.
Yeah,
It
incredible.
boggles the mind, that to me. So good for him. I hope he stays in the sport, and what a great message
Yeah.
with those other great champions there.
Yeah.
All mates now. That's what we want our sport to do.
Yeah, that camaraderie.
I got to sit in the stadium. Everyone had to put a shirt on, and I was given an extra small, but I still put it on. And I sat there.
You had to put it
You
on.
got it.
Yeah.
Sucked it in and
worth
got it
It
done.
was worth
Yeah.
it.
Is there a bit of muscle? A bit
There
of
was
bicep?
none of that.
No,
But
no.
it
There
was-
wasn't
it
even
was-
any
it-
breathing, I don't
No,
think.
there wasn't. But it was great.
Yeah, what a great man for tennis he's
Yeah.
been.
Yeah.
The Adelaide Crows are third on the ladder, by the way, in Australia, in AFL.
So they're an AFL team for our
Yes,
international
yes.
listeners.
Yeah.
Adelaide is somewhere
My
tiny
team-
in Australia.
Good wine. Yeah.
Good.
Sorry, adequate wine? No, you want me to say something
Great.
nicer?
Come on, mate.
Fantastic
Amazing wine. World
Beautiful
class.
wineries,
The best.
Yeah.
No, very good. No, well, that's good. You got a double. Well
That's
done.
me.
Very good. Brie?
Mine's quite boring as per usual.
Is it your pants?
It's not my pants. My pants are cool. Anyway, I'm having a midlife crisis. But I got home from
happening quite late.
Paris, 6 a.m. on Sunday, And you know what? I had the best time in Paris, but I love my life and it was so nice to come back.
Good.
I love our team here at Tennis Australia. It's so
You
nice
missed
to
your
see
dog.
them all. I miss my dog and the cat. And it's really nice to go away with work and then come back not dreading
Yeah.
going back to life. And I really was like, I've kind of hit the jackpot with where I'm at in life, that I'm really happy
But Brie,
with it.
But Brie, be honest. Have you ever had a croissant in Melbourne, like in Paris?
No.
And that's mainly because Brie kept trying to find a ham and cheese
How good?
croissant.
How good
And
are
they
the
wouldn't give her
croissants?
one.
Did you have a croissant, mate, or a chocolat pain?
I didn't, but I think we're going to have a bake.
Maybe.
Well, that's my ace of the week. The CEO of Tennis Australia making me feel like a dick. No, my ace of the week, it's not really an ace of the week, but it's been fun. So I went to drop my 5-year-old son at school today, rolled up there, looked around. Where is everybody? Checked the app. It's a
holiday.
pupil-free day at school.
That sounds like
And I'm
something
sitting
to do.
there looking at the back seat. He's there in his little uniform. And I'm like,
He's
okay.
now here at work in
Yeah, and
his
I'm like,
uniform.
guess what, buddy? You're coming to the office. So I've left him with Shannon, one of our our executive producer of original content. Hopefully not learning horrible things. But it's fun
That's
bringing
great.
a kid to work.
You should
And he
be.
had a bit of fun.
Join
Yeah.
the podcast.
Yeah, well, he'd do a better job than I. He definitely can pronounce his R's in break.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, well, that is
Well
it
done, mate.
for us from the tennis for another week. I've had fun. Don't know about our guests, but I'm sure
Been
they
great.
will tell
Thank
me
you.
that it was. Excellent. Thank you, Craig.
Good to see you, Fitzy.
Thanks, Craig.
Brie, well
Yeah,
done.
Fitzy.
See you.
Always a pleasure having you
Thank
on.
you.
It's always
Yeah.
Thank you.
the best when
Thank
you
you.
come.
It is good.
Thanks
Right.
for having me.
Brie, quieter pants next time.
Okay, let's close this off.
Thank you very much for listening. Don't forget, like, subscribe. I'm sure Harps and Andy will tell you all about it in a minute. See you next week for more tennis.
See you next week.
Hey everyone, Harps and Andy here. Just want to remind you that you can watch every episode of The Tennis on our YouTube channel, Australian Open TV.
And we have an email as well, podcast@tennis.com.au. If you thought the show was amazing or you thought it was terrible, we are keen to hear from you. We'll read it. So feedback, comments, whatever it is, get in touch with us at our email and we'll catch you on the next one.
Catch you later.